afternoon. My name is Karen Davino. I am the Superintendent of Schools, and I am here with a very special guest. My guest today is Patience Hevi. She's a high school senior, and we are doing a Superintendent Spotlight. But since it is nice outside, before the rain, maybe this weekend, we are outside in the courtyard at Vernon Township High School, so we can unmask. We'll keep this to under 20 minutes, so if you'd like to take your mask off, Patience, we can see each other's faces. Hello, how are you? So this is a Superintendent Spotlight. I'm so excited to talk to Patience today because she's a really, really unique young woman, and it's so important that we highlight the successes of all of our students. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to Patience about was, believe it or not, her successes as a high school wrestler. Yes, for those of you at home, you heard me correctly. Vernon has had a tremendous high school wrestling team and a great program for the last few years, and the girls have really done a great job. And this is new, and wrestling is really opening doors for young women. So, Patience, how did you get interested in wrestling? It seems like so obscure, so out there. So what happened? So what did you used to do before wrestling? Weight training or something?
I took weight training sophomore year, and I was kind of good at that. So,
okay.
I think during junior year, I was in the cafeteria getting lunch, and I heard Coach Iliff talking about like girls wrestling, and I was like kind of interested in it because I was like, I could probably do that. I'm really strong, and I think I can like learn the moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I went home with like a paper and asked my dad. He was like, well, originally he was like really hesitant about it, but
yes,
after a while he kind of got used to it.
Did you have to pester him a little bit?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, but he eventually said yes, and you've been doing girls wrestling now for a couple of years. Let's talk, we were talking a little bit earlier about one of the really cool things about wrestling is that even though you're really strong, talk to me a little bit about strength versus like strategies or learning the skills or learning the moves.
I think that if you have more technique, you will obviously win. Also, I think also endurance helps too. But for me, I was like good on the strength side, but I didn't really have the endurance or like the confidence.
Yeah.
My technique was okay, but it's definitely gotten better.
And it was new to you, right? I mean,
yeah.
some of the, and maybe not for the women, but for boys wrestling, which has been around forever, you know, they're learning techniques and strategies at very young ages, right? So now maybe that women's wrestling is becoming so much more popular that women like you will have the opportunity to coach young girls so that they can learn at a young age. Tell me about Coach Iliff. What was it like working with her?
It was fun. I think this year it was like extremely fun because I finally was able to like work on my endurance a little bit and able to get through like practices a lot more easier.
Yeah.
It was a little like I guess easier this year because of COVID and stuff like that. We had a lot of new girls who weren't used to the sport, so I had to take it easy on them. And Coach Iliff is great. She's really enthusiastic. She teaches like a lot, and like a lot of the stuff that she taught me works better for girls than like what I was learning last year. I was learning from like Coach Point.
Right.
And he's like more tailored to like heavyweights guys. So we learned like moves that like help that.
Right.
But like it's just better learning from a girl.
Sure. Yeah, and you know what I think the great thing unfortunately, due to COVID, your season was really interrupted, right? I mean, you probably would have looked to do some really amazing stuff on the mat this year, and that's unfortunate. But you're getting some interesting calls from colleges and universities, right? So I think one of the things you're considering maybe is New Jersey City University with their wrestling program. So if you do pursue that, what do you think you want to study if you head there?
Biology.
Okay, and you have an interest in what in regards to biology?
I want to be a doctor. Actually, I want to be a heart surgeon.
Okay, and you started to tell me a little bit earlier about anatomy and physiology, and so how some of the classes up here at the high school really piqued your interest in the medical field?
I took like the most like basic level of like anatomy and physiology this year, and it was great, but at the same time there are a few restrictions because of COVID.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've learned a lot. I'm definitely enjoying it. and I think it's preparing me for college and stuff.
And then there's another more personal reason that you started to care about health, right? Would you mind sharing that?
So, I think summer of 2015, my mom passed away, and I wanted to like go into the medical field, so nobody has to like deal with that type of pain of like losing a parent.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's really very personal. I appreciate that, and I think it's so amazing that you would take a moment of pain for yourself and find a way to maybe turn that into caring for other people. And that kind of dovetails into the other thing that I know you for, and that's your artwork. So for those of you who don't know at home, Patience is a tremendous artist, and she's done just beautiful, beautiful work, has been recognized in many art contests, over the past school year. And every time I'd see your name come across my desk, I thought, oh my goodness, what else can this young lady do, right? So art, you talked a little bit about losing your mom. What happened at that time before you started kind of getting into art? What happened in school?
Well, I started like failing a lot of my classes, and like I lost all interest in a lot of like stuff I was usually into.
Yeah.
I quit lacrosse.
And that's a shame, because that's a sport that you probably enjoyed very much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what saved you?
I guess like art. So I was okay at art in the 8th grade, but like I think like the recognition I got for some of my work really like pushed me harder, like pushed me to like work harder.
What kind of recognition? How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should. So the artwork started to become like maybe a little therapeutic, right? Something that you would do, when you were dealing with how you were feeling. So you've had, the last, I guess, couple of years have been maybe this like perfect storm in a good way. Even though COVID happened, you had your artwork being recognized, you had wrestling really kind of putting you on the map. Didn't you get a call from somebody about your story? Who called you?
I think I don't remember his name exactly, but it was like an author from, I'm trying to remember, Wisconsin. I'm not sure.
So an author reached out to you, and what did he want to do?
He wanted to talk about my experience wrestling.
Yeah.
And like how it's impacted me as a female.
Yeah. And that's really something else, right? So, and the last thing, and then we'll start to wrap up, is that you told me a minute ago that you probably weren't going to pursue art as a career, right? Even though you love it. So, and how come you don't think you want to pursue art?
I don't really see myself like making a decent like living off of art.
Yeah. That's a shame, right? Because it's something you really enjoy.
Yeah.
But for people in the arts, that can sometimes be a real challenge, right? They have to decide sometimes between something they love and something they can make a living at. What else were you going to share? Something else? You took AP art this year, right?
Oh yes, I took AP art this year, and I just wanted to see if I could get a 5 on my portfolio.
Listen, there's something to be said for that. So for people at home, I always say this: you have younger children, you're coming to the high school, AP or advanced placement courses. We have a ton of them at the high school, and we have AP art. A 5 is the highest you can get on a portfolio or a test, an AP test. We have students that get 5s on their AP exams, which is amazing. And a 5 on an AP portfolio would be another feather in your cap. So, for me, having the opportunity to talk to you is really wonderful, because you represent a few things that I think are so important. You are a wonderful representation for young women in Vernon and in our county, and of course, all across the nation, for people who look to young ladies who can inspire other people, and that's really special. So wrestling, girls wrestling is on the map, and you are a testament to that. And even if you're not going to pursue art, you'll always have it to go back to if you choose, to use it for fun, or eventually to teach your children, as you grow older. And I really hope that we have the opportunity to see you wrestle maybe at New Jersey City University. I think that would be spectacular. So anything else you want to share about teachers, about anything at the high school that prepared you for your next steps? About art teachers, or...
Well, I kind of just want to thank some of my art teachers from the past.
Oh, that's nice.
In 8th grade, I had Mrs. Me as an art teacher, and she kind of pushed me to like sign up for art in the high school. And if it weren't for her, I'd probably, I don't know, I probably wouldn't have found like such
your
love
passion.
for art.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and I know that you've received some art scholarships too, so it's kind of hard to pass that up, but you do have to do it what you think you want to do in the future, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's my pleasure to have the opportunity to talk to Patience Hevi. Do not forget who she is, because we'll be seeing some wonderful things from her in the future. Thanks so much.